Yo, what's up, and welcome back to another video. Yes, I know it's been a minute, and by a minute, it's like 4 years, but it's still alright. You know how it is. Today, I do want to talk about Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition. If y'all didn't see, Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition got traded last week in Korea. I actually made a short about it, so if you want to follow my socials at my TikTok, Instagram, and of course, it's all going to be posted on YouTube Shorts on this channel too. So if y'all want to subscribe and support. But yeah, so Sonic Frontiers got rated last week in Korea, and this has kind of been the trend for the past few Sonic games. So for example, Sonic Origins Plus got rated in Korea and then got revealed like a month later. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Frontiers Definitive Edition reveal either late this month or next month. It's definitely within the cards, and maybe even a Sonic Central. The Sonic Blitz account isn't the best at hiding secrets. Kind of on their Twitter, they're kind of hinting more information late May, and that might be tied to Sonic Central. We haven't gotten one in a minute, so we're definitely past due for one. And I think it's the perfect time, anyways, because then they can reveal Blitz, obviously. Like, who cares? But, reveal Frontiers Definitive Edition, and then June is all, Summer Game Fest type anyway. And probably release on Sonic's anniversary. This is probably the 35th anniversary game, anyways. So I think any hope for a mainline game is kind of dead, to be honest. But yeah, I want to talk about what I think Frontiers Definitive Edition is gonna look like, and then my personal wish list. So the first thing I want to note is that if Frontiers Definitive Edition is anything notable, then it's probably gonna be the thing for the year. Like, this is the main event. This is what's holding us over until movie 4 early next year, which means we'll probably get the Sonic 4 hype train starting late this year. So yeah, as I said, I don't think, as much as I wanted to believe a new mainline game would be this year, I think it might be time to wrap it up, and I think it's gonna have to be next year. However, that is a Frontiers Definitive Edition as anything notable. Now, some people are saying might be a Switch 2 edition. The reason I don't believe it's a Switch 2 edition is mainly because they would have just called it that, just flat out call it that. Because, every single company, when they release a Switch 2 edition, they all follow the same naming format. So I don't know why Sega would try to be different in just the definitive edition. And the fact that it got rated means it's a physical release. And I think if they were to do that, they would have made it a multi-plat release where they may put the definitive edition on all platforms. Now, this tells me that it has to be notable at least somewhat, because why would you re-release a game physically and call it definitive edition if it's just an update that you could have just done to the game, right? Because all the DLC is free anyway. You can buy Frontiers today and then still play Final Horizons and get all the costumes and shit. So I think they have to add something of substance to make you pay a whole, in this economy. If you're gonna re-release it and you want people to pay for it, it's gonna have to be something of worth. And with the past few releases, I definitely think they will. We're past the trenches of Colors Ultimate. This will actually be good. Origins Plus, for example, added all the Game Gear games and they just polished up the OG Origins and just made it a whole much better package than OG Origins. Not that OG Origins was bad, but Plus definitely warranted that name. And then you look at Sonic and Shadow Generations. I remember when that first got leaked, people were thinking it was just going to be a Shadow skin. And then people are like, okay, it might not be a Shadow skin. It might be an episode Shadow, like Forces. It turns out it's a whole ass fucking game. It's just a whole new game. So I think we're definitely starting to get to the point where there's no more steps in the right direction. We're there. You feel me? So now, what it could add, I think the bare minimum is obviously fix up the game. The pop-in is fucking horrendous. They definitely gonna fix that shit. They're gonna smooth everything out, you know? Now, what I think, my predictions for what they're gonna do, I think it won't, unfortunately, be... I'm hoping to be wrong. I think they're probably just gonna really polish the game, add better frame rates, which is just like the minimum. Obviously, that's like almost guarantee. And then I think they might add a mini campaign. Now, movie 4 is coming out early next year, so they probably want to do a tie into that. You know, Shadow Generations tied in to movie 3, and they said that the games and the movies are going to be working more in tandem. So if this is the game before the movie, then I don't see why there shouldn't at least be an Amy campaign. And like Amy's already playable. She already has her own full moveset, which I think is fire. They can easily just make a campaign about Amy and Sonic and then have add Metal Sonic to Frontiers, which by the way would be raw as fuck. Like Metal Sonic used to be like he's just so cool. And then they just made him a fucking bum. And it's so sad to see. Cause this guy was like insane. Like he was cool as fuck in the OVA. He was cool as fuck in Heroes. Like he just has that swag, and so I think that's definitely gonna be an addition. Now, how big is the campaign? I don't really know, to be honest. But I think they're gonna do something about that. Another thing that I think they're gonna do for sure is make the playable characters, Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, just playable everywhere. To be honest, I think they should have just done that anyways. So I already think it's past overdue. Like I would love to play as Knuckles and Ares, or like Tails and Chaos, you feel me? So I don't know why that wasn't added in the first place, and I think it was a pretty missed opportunity. So I feel like that's definitely something they would add in this definitive edition to kind of warrant the name. And yeah, that's definitely, like, I think that's the bare minimum they're gonna do. They're gonna fix up the game a bit, make the pop end look nicer, just make everything a little more smooth, and then, you know, obviously fix it up on Switch, because the Switch edition of Frontiers is so ass. It's so ass. Like, it runs so fucking ass. So a Switch 2 edition where it actually runs normally probably be great. And then adding the characters, make them playable on every island, and then probably at least a mini campaign to try and promote the movie. I think that's what they're gonna do. One thing I definitely want to see them do though, and I think they will, is the cyberspace levels in Final Horizon should have been added to the cyberspace mode so you can just play it separate. I feel like that was also a pretty missed opportunity. Kind of have like your normal cyberspace mode, then you have your Final Horizon where you can just play the Final Horizon levels. I think that's pretty obvious accessibility. Again, with the playable characters, I think this should have been added since Final Horizons, but it definitely gives them an opportunity to add it now. Now, when it comes to a wish list, though, like generally Frontiers Definitive Edition is so vague that like it generally could be at any part of the spectrum. Like it could generally be as small as them just fixing like the pop-in or whatever, or it could be basically a whole new game. One thing people were mentioning that I would be interested to see, I'm not sure, I don't know, I don't think they would, but it's definitely like it would be cool. Is Chronos was originally meant to be Chronos was originally meant to be Chronos, Rhea, and Aranos. It was all supposed to be one island before they realized that like we cannot keep this up for multiple islands, so they split it up into 3. So imagine if they just put that shit together and it's back to its original form, which I don't think is actually that unrealistic because it still wouldn't mess up as the game structure. Sam mentioned it in his video. You should watch Sam Procrastinate's video. It's pretty good as well. But he was mentioning that you could easily just go from Chronos to Ares to Chaos, and then you come back to Rhea and Aranos. So it could definitely like still work structurally with the game and not mess anything up, because then you could just lock that area off until that point of the story, right? And then at the end, it's just one big island that you can just run in free. So I definitely think it's a possibility. Unlikely, but definitely think it's a possibility. One thing I would love to see, and this is pure copium. This is pure Spring Yard cope. If they give us a look at the new model, they update Sonic's model. Like that ass Sonic's model is older than me. I should not, like, I'm a grown ass man and Sonic's model is older than me. Like that should not be the case. Like how, like genuinely, we are so due for a new model. And the reason why I think this isn't fully written off, like I would say there's still like a 5-10% chance this happens, but why I don't think it's fully written off is because of Twitter. they're doing their Sonic Rewind. So they started off as a 2010s profile picture, now they're in the 2000s, and which means after they're gonna be in the 90s, right? But they're doing like a month and a half for each of these PFPs, and that kind of lines up to that late May Sonic Central. And I think it's pretty useless if you showed off the 2020s PFP, then you go from the 2010s, and then you go to the 90s, just to go back to the old model anyways. Then kind of what was the point of doing it, right? I think what they're doing is trying to tease the new model. So I think if Frontiers Definitive Edition was the game for this year, maybe we get a look at the new model potentially. And I don't think it's written off as a possibility. Second thing that's definitely wish list that I think a lot of people also talked about is kind of giving us just a peek of Frontiers 2 basically through the game. You can like changing the physics and stuff. Obviously, Sonic Frontiers Revisited exists, and a lot of people I've seen people saying, "What if Definitive Edition it kind of looks like that?" Which I think would be pretty cool. Shout out Sonic Frontiers Revisited, by the way. They are cooking with that game. It looks really nice. But but yeah, like this is like I said, this is just all wishless and cope. So I think I would love to see that. Basically anything that just warrants the definitive edition. Like I'm trying to think of like what they could do to warrant that title to resell the game at full price, right? Because you're gonna have to add something notable. Maybe the Amy and Metal campaign can be something a bit more substance. I hope it's at least a few hours. Like, kind of like Shadow Generations. If they're gonna add a whole campaign DLC, I think it would be cool if it's kind of like its own game in its sense inside of Frontiers, and then they polish up and make Frontiers really nice, and then it's like, just ties into the movie so beautifully, while also making Frontiers so much better. I personally really love Sonic Frontiers. That game will always mean a lot to me, and like just the hype cycle, even though it started off really bad with IGN first, but like, the whole hype cycle leading up and the showdown trailer and everything. But like, there is definitely a lot of polish it could use and like a lot of jank it could get removed. And this is a perfect opportunity. Like, I already love Frontiers, but Frontiers could genuinely have the potential to be a top 5 Sonic game ever for me if they fix it up, right? Like, I don't think it's that far off from there, anyways. So, yeah, I would love to see that personally. And obviously, just like the quality of life updates, like having Spin Dash unlocked. I don't know why they made you have to do all those fucking BS action time trials and shit just to unlock it. I think having it from the start, or like at least in the skill tree, would make so much more sense because the game is genuinely so much better with the Spin Dash. So I think to have to do all those action trials to get the Spin Dash, I think it's kind of a waste, to be honest, because I think it's essential. It's kind of like the drop dash for me, like the drop dash is so essential now. They add it everywhere, right? Like, why wouldn't you have the spin dash? Why would you lock it? It's kind of like secret rings where you have to unlock better controls. Like, I think spin dash genuinely makes that difference. So to see them add it, at least to the skill tree, and that's another thing. I would love for them to expand the skill tree. My personal biggest issue was the Frontiers combat. As much as I loved it, it felt too much like it was a cinematic move almost. Like, I was basically watching Sonic do the move and it just played this cutscene. And the dynamic battle camera that they added, I think that's the name, it definitely made a difference. Where the combat felt so much more involved and like it was an action game. So imagine they add more moves to play into that, where it's like you're actually making these decisions instead of just watching Sonic do a cool animation, right? Because as cool as those animations are, I think adding kind of a variety of options where Sonic's combat could be much more fluid and also cinematic, I think that's kind of the perfect sweet spot. So an upgrade to the skill tree would be something I would really love to see for Sonic, and I think it would generally make the combat so much better, because like the combat, there's definitely a focus on the combat in this game, and I don't think it was to its full potential. Like, I still think the Unleashed combat is better, and like Unleashed is still my favorite game of all time, but it's also a 2008 Sonic game. Like, the combat system in like this modern day and age, I think should be better than that. So obviously, I'm sure some people definitely prefer Frontiers combat, which is fair. But I don't know. I just think making Sonic's combat much more action based and more than cinematic. I think that's definitely something I'd love to see. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of routes they can go with this. I think if I had to make a mix of what I think of a wish list and what I think could actually happen, I think one, we're gonna get this quality of life update, so no more poppin'. Two, we get the spin dash. We get the playable characters to the other islands, and then I think we do get that Amy and Metal Sonic campaign, which I would love to see. And I do think we can see an upgraded skill tree for Sonic, and maybe even some of the other characters too. I liked Knuckles, Tails, and Amy's skill trees, but they could definitely have more. And I think I would love to see if they did add more. And my final thing, I would love to see a new model, or at least like a skin. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you can play as like normal Sonic, but also play as the new model. You feel me? And skins is definitely something I see them doing, adding more customization. They love their customization nowadays, so I think Frontiers, like, and even shows in Frontiers, the Monster Hunter skin, you had the Santa skin, you had the pre-order skin where I don't even remember. I think it was like Tim's ripoff or something. Like, you had a lot of skins for Sonic already. He had his birthday skin. Like, he definitely had a lot of skins. So I think it would be cool if they added more. Personally, I'd love to see if they added like an adventure skin or like a rider skin, kind of like what they did with Shadow Gens, where they added Sonic Jam for classic Sonic, like Sonic Jam's model for classic Sonic and the adventure model for Gens, which by the way is so raw. I love like the adventure model in Gens, so peak. I'm so happy they did that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of possibilities. Let me know what you guys think down below, what you guys think Definitive Edition will entail, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and check out my other socials.